What's good, everybody? It's your gearhead, Mr. Logic himself. Yo, allow me to introduce to you my lovely co-host.
Hey guys, it's your girl Nate. Very tired Nate. Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
And make sure if this is your first time, you hit that like and subscribe button. You already know what time it is, yo. Without no further ado, this is one thing for sure,
Two things for certain.
Oh, that's true. I'm tired. You're tired. Like I'm really fried.
These goddamn 9 to 5s. Or in Jason's case.
Well, I have a lot of doctor's appointments I had to go to today. So it's ass kicker. But let's follow tradition. How's your week going by so far?
It was good. It was good. What did I do this weekend? I studied. I have a test coming up.
Okay.
Just thinking back. Cause I literally y'all, I fell asleep. I was supposed to be here at a certain time and Jason called me and I woke up from bed. My hair all over the place. I was like, it's 8:30. I gotta leave.
Well, on the other hand, I wasn't going to share this, but I felt like I have to share it because I realized something. You know how you're on the process of healing and getting to a better place?
Yeah.
I had a wake-up call today coming from the doctor, and I realized I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to find my peace.
So you?
The one thing, and let me know if you guys can answer this question. How is it that a person is supposed to find peace when the majority of their life they've been at war with themselves, with life, or with God? Like, how do you create that peace? You can't block people out. You can't just shut down. Like, the way you carry yourself holds responsibilities because you are the glue to certain individuals in your life. But sometimes it could become overwhelming. So I say that to say this. I passed by a certain area and I didn't want to pass by that area in case of me seeing someone. And I had to think, okay, for me to still feel that way, I haven't found my peace. And that to me is a big eye opener. Because a lot of times, man, what we end up doing, dude, like we convince ourselves we're getting better. Or in most cases, the void we have in our life, we distract ourselves with either someone or something and we don't give it attention. So I realized that today, and I wasn't upset or anything. It's just like eventually, if I don't really focus and clear out that void, it's essentially going to start tearing me down more than it has already.
I feel you. Oh, dude.
That shit was crazy today.
I feel you. Honestly,
another reason why I'm tired.
Honestly, in that situation, it really hits you when you realize, oh shit, I didn't actually heal. I kind of just forgot and the pain went away.
Yeah, or you substitute it for something else.
Because it's like, you have a problem in your life and you're like, let me escape this problem because out of sight, out of mind, time passes. Eventually you forget and you're like, everything is great. But what you forgot to do is how to properly forgive that problem, move on and heal yourself. Because a lot of the times some people will just, if they have the opportunity to like run away from it, they'll do it.
I think most people run. I don't like, at least in my case, forgiving the situation or the person's not the issue. It's more of like self-punishment that I gotta really dial back on. You are your hardest critic, and a lot of times we beat ourselves up for the actions of others. And I think, I don't want to say that's a trauma response, but realistically it is. You overcompensate by being pleasable to others, especially those who did you wrong, because it's kind of like having certain individuals around you or being in certain environments is a reminder of who you are, especially when you're in a time that you feel lost. And now that you don't have access to that, it's kind of like scary because you don't really know where to place your feet down or plant your toes. And then comes like, there's no what ifs. Like, you can't have what ifs. If you're asking yourself, what if I personally believe you're failing in life? But in this case, I realized when I was in that area, it was like, damn, bro, like I'm still not comfortable. And a lot of times gone by, you know what I'm saying? And this is not just with this one individual, it's actually multiple individuals. And you know how they say, oh, I wish you the best. Let me be honest, I don't. I don't wish them the best. And
Like you say, I wish you the best, but you don't actually mean it. It's just something you're
no,
saying.
I don't say it.
Or it's
I-
that's something that they say to you.
No, neither. It's just like that's the natural go to be
Oh,
the
the
bigger
saying.
person. Oh, I wish you the best. No, I don't. I don't wish you harm. But I'm also not going to be here and like, oh, I wish you the best of luck. Like, no, I don't. Just because I don't think it's warranted, and I don't think the people who have crossed or put that, you know, line in the sand, the blood in the sand, deserve that much compassion. And I realize like one of the biggest mindset and strong points of healing is honestly controlling your compassions you have for others. Because, like I say, anytime, you know, anytime you're going to help somebody in life, whether it's a girl, whether it's a male, whether it's family, whether it's a
Mhm.
friend, girlfriend, you have to break yourself in order to help that person. And the way you break yourself, the pieces that come off from you, you give that person to make themselves whole. But it's usually a one-way street,
Right.
which believes the saying, you know, hurt people. But I personally believe that's bullshit. If you do something, you can't have expectations. The expectations will only lead to disappointment.
Honestly, I know there have been a few times where you help someone out and in the end it kind of just screws you over. And I don't want you to think that because of those situations, helping someone out is such a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
I just feel like sometimes you've just gotten a really bad hand, and that really fucking sucks because you're a great person and you do deserve better. And I do wish you the best. I just think that sometimes you have to be really careful with helping someone out. Like, just because you decide not to help someone out, that automatically does not equal you being a bad person or you not deserving the best. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
You have to really realize that, because I know out of habit you like to help people, you want to give a piece of yourself. I don't know, maybe it's the way you treat others the way you would want to be treated, which I feel that, because sometimes
Yeah.
I'd also do that in return. But if there's something that I've learned, something a little different about me, it's I mirror people's emotions,
Mhm.
which a lot of the times, can't be the best in a situation, because like if you come up crying to me, I don't care what the context is, I'll probably have no clue. If you come crying, panicking, crying, like looking me in the eyes and telling me that like something's wrong, I will immediately start crying. Like the second a TikTok video shows up and it's sad music and someone's crying, I will immediately start crying. Or like that's why I need to work twice as hard in customer service, because if a customer is giving me attitude and screaming at me,
See, that's what I
bitch,
mean.
get the fuck away from me, because I am not about this attitude. Like, you see, I mirror people's emotions. If somebody comes at me with a good vibe, being like, "Oh my god, Mikita, how are you?" I'd be like, oh, "She's so great," like I feel that vibe, and so because of that,
it's crazy that you say that, because in all the years I work retail, I have never had a customer make me cry. Now I've been called some racist things. I've been tore on, like
you're so strong.
I don't think it's strength. I think it comes into, who you are. And it's like, when someone's talking shit and you could destroy this person. So you just like carry on.
I think you're strong. You want to know why I said that?
Hmm.
Why I said that's so strong of you. I think you're so strong because if you were to be in my shoes for a day and feel my emotions,
okay,
I don't think you would like just grasp like, not that I'm saying I'm traumatized. It's just I think because have a very strong character, you can't believe how emotional I can get. And so you can probably explain maybe my hormones or how I am, whatever, my personality, whatever it is. There have been 2 times that I can remember that a customer has made me cry. One time I was 19, I was young, new to the workforce in customer service, and the lady pulled out the race card and I was very overwhelmed, had a long line, and I was
I'm
like,
sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
No, I mean that was the situation. I was so overwhelmed. I literally started crying. I stormed out into the break room. My manager had to come in and console me and be like, "There was nothing wrong with you. You're okay." Oh, God bless that man.
Yo,
He was a great manager.
That's crazy.
And the second time was actually at Best Buy. I went above and beyond for a customer, and I guess I cried out of being so frustrated at the fact that I helped her, and I tried going above and beyond for her, and she still was so ungrateful at maybe a minor thing that I couldn't do because we were literally closed. It was 30 minutes past closing, and we can't. And what she wanted would have taken another hour and a half. We can't stay there, and we can't do that. So I was just so frustrated. The managers ended up taking care of it. I stormed off, and I was just tearing up, not because like
Frustration.
it was just frustration. I didn't want to scream at her and like lose my job or something. So I was just so angry that I cried. And then every other instance, I just felt like shit if a customer screams at me. Either my blood boils or I get teary-eyed or I feel sad.
I say hands are rated E for everyone. I don't give a shit. You could be a teenager, hand raised it. They're rated E. Everyone can get this work. It's
rated E for elbows.
I mean, okay, I get you with the whole mindset of I think what happens, especially when it comes to frustration, is the frustration doesn't come so much more out of anger. I think the frustration comes out of the fact that you have to literally change who you are to compensate somebody who's non-deserving of it.
How do you get frustrated? Like, let's say you're having a tough day and it's just one domino after the other. Like, how do you respond?
Well, truthfully, okay. So example, right? Like if I see I have a fucked up route, like the other day I got sent to Broward. I was not happy about it. I was hot. I talking to my supervisor. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But what overrules that is my mindset is it got to get done. Despite how I feel, despite what, takes place, that's what I'm here for, to get it done. Now, my theory is you could always complain as long as you're willing to do something about it. So when I complain, I at least have a solution behind it to turn it around to try to prevent it from happening again. I just don't talk shit. No, I talk to who I need to talk to. I investigate and I make the adjustments I need. And I don't consider that complaining. I consider that being strategic on shit. You know what I'm saying? But frustration is also having to deal with the lack of commitments of others. The what do you call it? When somebody's incompetent, like these are the things that trigger somebody emotionally, because just because in my head I can figure it out, it would make me a hypocrite to think that you should be able to figure it out too. That's what makes us unique. We all approach things differently. And I have to constantly remind myself of that. Like, yo, Rome wasn't built in one day. Not everyone picks it up like that. So my compassion is where I have to slow myself down. Sometimes I have to dumb myself down. Where it gets to a point where it's spilling over is when you're doing those actions to compensate the person and they wipe it with their ass. Now you're insulting my intelligence. Now it doesn't become frustration. Now it becomes almost like a vendetta, because I'll tell you how I feel. I remember when I was a teenager and this dude, I was working at a restaurant called Dallas Barbecue. And this was in the hammocks, and I just started working at a restaurant, and this one fucker kept talking shit. Oh, he can't get the order right. Da, 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 da. So I was like, yo, so why don't you teach me? If you know how to do it better, then teach me. Continues talking shit. So I lost it. And I said, if you want, we can clock out and we can go outside, bro. I didn't say it with an attitude. I just got to that point because now it's like, okay,
you're trying to offer solutions, and he's all he's doing is complaining. And it's like you don't have interest in resolving this.
You just want to talk shit. So to me, that's why I always say my philosophy is I'm not responsible for the person you bring out of me. You either bring out the worst or you bring out the best. That solely depends how you interact with me. Period. I don't walk around being Mr. fucking Hulk or Mr. President shaking everyone's hands. I go based off energy. I'm Isaac Newton. I'm going to match it or come at you greater. But one thing that's going to happen, one thing for sure, two things for certain, you're going to learn today. That's just what it is. You're going to learn today. And I've kept that attitude which is allowing me to get this far, because once you have that mindset, you learn not to take things personal, even when they are personal. Because think about it. Anger is self-punishment for other people's mistakes. And you really have to understand that as you get older. Why say me and you are arguing, right? And I'm mad at you. No, the only thing I would make me mad is if you fucked up on something, right? Why should your mistake be my punishment? That's what's wrong with taking shit to the heart. Let that shit go. I'm not saying to completely disregard it, note it down, but to act on it, you're punishing yourself for somebody bullshit. Like when a customer makes you frustrated, their stupidity of not understanding something is self-punishment because you're allowing it to rile you up. And don't get it twisted. I'm semi-contradicting myself,
right?
Because the problem with that with customers is easy. It's a different vibe when you're tied to that person emotionally. Such as your boyfriend, right? Say you and your man's getting in an argument. All right, here we go. You're getting upset with your boyfriend. Perfect prime example, right? The most common thing for shorties are, I don't want him to take me here because I asked him. I want him to want to go with me.
Okay.
That frustration alone is harder to deal with than a customer because there's emotions tied to it.
Oh, I feel
And when you got those emotions tied to it, especially if you love what you do in life, that self-punishment becomes more severe when there's emotions. Because it impairs your ability to process.
Oh my God. Okay, so the example that you gave. I want him to take me here, not because I asked, but because he wanted to. Okay, yeah. So let's flip it. Let's, instead of saying that, let's change,
rhythm.
Rhythm, how we're gonna say it. So instead of saying that, you say, babe, my love language is spontaneous dates. I want you to make the effort in giving me spontaneous gestures or dates. Can I and that alone, that says, I want you to give me flowers because you wanted to. That I want you to take me to this restaurant because you wanted to take me to this restaurant. So instead of saying that, you say, hey, I want you to give me spontaneous gestures or spontaneous dates because that is my love language. Can I
break that down?
What do you think about that?
I don't necessarily agree with it.
What?
And the reason why, okay, allow me to dissect it, right? You said you would be saying to your man, my love language is this. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
However, this is where I feel like a lot of people in relationships go bad. And this is me being completely honest. That whole saying, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. When you love somebody, you ignore certain traits because you're thinking about the bigger picture. But those little traits you're ignoring end up stacking up because in the back of your brain is seared in there and you don't forget that. And it's not a woman thing. It's not a man thing. That's a human nature thing. So in your situation, if that's something you want from your man, change your word into differently. Don't be like, I want. Say, I need. You know what I'm saying? Because saying you want is more of an entitlement behind that. That's saying good. You need is validation. This is what I need for me to work with you. It's not what I want, because in a relationship, you don't get what you want. In a relationship, you compromise. And choosing your words in that case is very critical. So in your case, I would be like, yo, babe, this is what I need to feel validated. This is what I need for me to basically feel comfortable and to, work with you.
Okay. Now, how about this? I need,
a brand new Bugatti.
A brand new Bugatti. Okay. So spontaneous gestures and let's say physical touch.
Okay.
Those are pretty basic love languages. So instead of, you could probably say, I need to be shown like love through spontaneous gestures and physical touch. Would that be like a good way to phrase like the sentence?
I think, well, in cases like that, when you're talking about, this is just me going off for my experiences. I'm not no fucking guru or mastermind on that. I'm just a person who looks at past events I've gone through. If physical touch is something you adore, that's what sparks your brain. That's what gets you going.
Mm-hmm.
We know you like mental stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's important to you, right? Okay, and I hate to compare it to a dog, but this is the best analogy I can do. When a dog does something good, you reward it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Something.
A cat, you reward it. Sometimes it's called praise.
Right.
And we have to do that with each other. And when I say praise, it's like when he gives you what you're needing, you have to give him reassurance
that he's doing a good
he's doing a good job, because then to him, it's basically creating that dynamic where it's like, damn, I know now my girl loves when I do this, so I know how to go about it to make her feel good. And the beautiful thing about translating that is you're actually going to see and realize if that person actually cares to engage.
Right.
Because one of the things that sets off relationships to go sour is when the partner out of the two, whether it's the male or female, stop doing the things they used to. And 9 out of 10 times they stopped doing the things they used to because they were no longer getting the validation or the praise for doing it. Doesn't matter. It's the littlest thing. Like one thing I learned from my grandparents, which was the greatest example of love I ever received, is no matter how many times my grandfather would scrub those pots and pans or do housework, she always showed appreciation to the littlest detail just to remind him,
bro,
I love you. I value you. And that's something that's missing in our parents' generation to our generation now.
Positive reinforcement. That was the word I was looking for.
It's needed because think about it. Let me tell you something. It's like playing sports, yo. It's like if I miss a shot, you going to have the other team, yo, brick. But your true brother's going to grab my face. Yo, hold your head high, nigga. You're going to hit that again.
Right.
And it's the same thing in relationship. And this is just me. Again, I'm not no expert. I'm just learned from my mistakes. You have to be able to be the coach. You have to also be able to be the player. And you also have to know when to play your position. And playing the position is what fucks a lot of people up because everybody wants to be the star. But guess what? Let's break it down. There would be no Jordan without Pippen, right? There would be no legacy of Miami if it was just LeBron. He needed Wade, he needed Bosh, the big three. My Celtics, Ray Allen, Garnett, Paul Pierce. Meaning for things to work, everyone has to play their position. Because if you don't play your position, the whole team suffers. That whole saying, too many Indians, not enough Chiefs, is a saying of saying there's too many workers, but there's no sense of direction.
Yo, we're putting things in perspective.
Yeah, but in relationships, it's not too many Indians, not enough Chiefs. It's too many Chiefs, not enough Indians, because neither two want to submit.
Okay, what's the comparison?
The comparison would be, okay, you're with your man, right? And this is, again, y'all, this is just my opinion. I'm just cooking up. You have a role to play.
Yeah.
That role is either the male side, the female side. You got to be feminine. He has to be masculine, right? But at the same time, your man has to be willing to compromise and let you lead. That's where a lot of men fuck up because there's certain points in life that a woman would know more than you. Mm-hmm. And if you can't accept that, then that's where you shoot yourself in the foot and vice versa. There's certain aspects in life that a man would know more than you. But because everybody want to be the chief and nobody want to be an Indian, niggas clash and they basically beef with each other. And what they beef over is not even the situation. It's the beef of entitlement because it's like, no, I'm the captain. No, you're the captain. Motherfucker, be happy that you got your own boat. The only way this shit goes merry-go-round, everybody got to play their part. There is no 50-50. It's 100-100. Because sometimes as a man, I learned in my relationship, I got to fall back because sometimes my lady needs me to be her cheerleader, to boost her, to make sure she understands that I got her back no matter what. I don't always have to take charge. And I think that happens, especially with today's society. They have a lot of men who think, oh, leading means they control everything. No, Let me tell you something. And I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. Your girl, like if I'm in a relationship, I want my lady to be stronger than me. Why? This is a woman that's potentially going to be raising my kids. So how else is she supposed to know how to fend for herself if I'm constantly preventing her from being able to take position or, take initiative? A lot of dudes don't want that because they've been fed some bullshit. Just like a lot of women see the suppression of their loved ones, meaning their aunts, their, cousins, what they're going through. And that traumatizes and that causes a clash in relationships. So that's why I say the best way to run a relationship is keep people out of it. Yeah. Keep your privacy, because guess what?
Yourselves.
It'll be the ones closest. Betrayal only comes from people you know. It never comes from a stranger. So if you want to have a healthy relationship, you got to play musical chairs on that bitch, because you got to understand your life is not the same as your man's life. Your experience is way different from his. Compromise. It's okay to let him lead, but guess what? Sometimes the captain got to sit on the bench because he either got injured or he don't got the stamina to keep going. And the trust is like, I trust you enough to take this in the right direction. Because a lot of times, especially in the dynamic family that we're so used to seeing back in the day, yeah, the man leaves, but guess what? The woman controlled the finances, what was needed to the house. You get what I'm saying?
I feel you.
It worked that way because that's literally what worked for them. It's customized. Everyone's relationship is different. The first mistake that you could ever do is compare your relationship to another one. Like when I was in a relationship, I wasn't that type to like to chill with other couples, because the natural thing is, oh, notices what he does. Notice how he does that.
Oh,
and that's,
my God.
But that's natural behavior, because if you see something that you're not familiar with, of course it's going to strike for your attention.
You know the phrase, you can't miss what you've never had.
Facts.
So it's like, when you're in a relationship and you've never had certain experiences, you don't know any better. You're just like, oh, whatever. I love where I am right now. I love my partner. But then you see another couple and they're doing something. You're like, wow, like that's pretty great. But instead of being like, wow, I can't believe like my partner doesn't do this for me, be like, oh, if I just came up with this now, like it never occurred to me. It probably never occurred to him. Mm-hmm. Talk about it, bring it up, but just like a little recap. I think, damn, Jason, we are revolutionizing this. You are just blowing my mind, because it's coming together, like the first step is talking to your partner and telling them, hey, I need to be shown love through spontaneous gestures and physical touch. Okay, babe. Give me examples. Okay.
Teach them
this and that. These are my examples. Teach them
how to love you.
And then you have that conversation. You give him examples. You teach him. Great. And then he does that. Let's say spontaneous gestures. Hey, I saw some flowers. I wanted to give it to you. Oh my God, thank you. I love you so much. That response right there, that's, I guess, would be considered praise. Because when your partner is actively showing you that they love you through your love language, the positive, reassurance and reinforcement would be your reaction. So, you're smiling and you're saying thank you, be like, oh, I love these, thank you so much, like I'm so glad you remembered. Or like physical touch, maybe they're giving you a bunch of forehead kisses and kissing you all over the face before they leave for work, and you're like, oh my God, babe, this is so good, thank you so much. It's when we say the positive reinforcement, that's what that looks like. It's not always thank you, babe, for remembering, because it could be that, but sometimes they'll make it so like robotic, and just
you got to be genuine about
your genuine reaction.
I think the best way to put it, and again, I'm only going based on, I can only speak for what I've been through. I can't speak for anyone else, but I could share my experience. You get what I'm saying? And in my experience, especially today, after what I, had to come to terms with, is for a relationship to work, you have to understand it's not always going to be fucking rainbows and clouds. You couldn't appreciate the sun if it never rained.
True.
You get what I'm saying? And a lot of times your partner will get sick. We're human. You can't have high expectations that you can't even perform yourself. Being said, I think what really fucks the game up to this day is a lot of modern people. I can't even say modern women. I have to say, this is for both modern men and modern women. What they seek, what they want, they don't qualify. What they need, they completely disregard.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And because of that, you basically have a rift in the process. It doesn't work. It will never work. Just like I'll tell you like this. How many times have you seen, whether it be on TV, social media, you got these people who have a perfect lifestyle and they do all cute things. Like you'll see a dude open the door for his girl and he's like, oh my God, he's so romantic. But what you're not seeing is him getting her in the car. And as soon as that door closes, he's like, why were you looking at that dude, bitch? You don't know. You could only assume. Value what you got. Because the moment you looking at somebody else's paper, you lose on track on what you're building for yourself. This is not a competition with other couples. It's a competition with you and your partner about yourself for growth and development. It's y'all against the world. And the reason why I say it's y'all against the world, because you engaging with that person, they know you to that level if they're for you. If they wanted to, they would. When they fuck up, this is where you have to ask yourself, are you willing to deal with it? Because you can't just love the good. You have to love the ugly as well.
Yeah.
Everybody has a beautiful side. Everyone has an ugly side. You can't just pick and choose because then you're not being real. I have to say you're being fake. So with that being said, that's why I say compromise is a big thing. You have to really know how to give praise and go with what you need, not what you want. Because guess what? A lot of shorties out here who are single don't get the man they want. They get the man they can. But when you get what you need, you got everything that you perfectly need. That's it. You don't need no more than that. I'm not saying just be satisfied, but be respectful and be, what's the word I'm looking for? Appreciative.
Right. So this goes on to our next topic. I saw this video, on Insta, and it was a girl venting about how she's tired of pretending to be low maintenance so her partner will like her more. And so it got me thinking that there are some men who can't believe how high maintenance a woman can be and that they'd rather not deal with it. And I had these questions like, will they go the rest of their lives not loving their partner in their love language? Are they actually in love with their partner? If so, and still believe loving their partner in their love language is considered high maintenance, then what's wrong with them that they think that way? Have they always been like that towards family and friends? You can't make someone treat you right. You give them the opportunity, and if they fail, then the relationship ends for the most part. But will they ever treat someone right? Maybe the right one will come along. I don't know. Food for thought. It got me thinking about those questions because, you have men that and they're like, oh, she's so high maintenance. But what's considered high maintenance is actually the bare minimum.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts?
This is definitely gonna hurt some feelings, but it is what it is. If a shorty tells me she has standards, there's nothing wrong with having standards. And gentlemen out here, again, I want to repeat it. There's nothing wrong with a woman having high standards. But what you got to understand, if you can't meet those criteria, she's not the one for you. And a lot of times that's where you confuse love for lust. You get what I'm saying? Because when you lust for a woman, you end up playing keep up. It's the same thing for women. When you're lust over a man, it's called keeping up. Lust will have you doing things out of your norm that you normally wouldn't do. That's why they say when the right one comes along, she'll change or he'll change. And with having like a high maintenance, the problem I have with this pastor, she's like, I'm tired of not basically getting what my standards are. I'm dumbing myself down to compensate. All you're really doing is shooting yourself in the foot.
Right.
Because if you know that's not what you want, then you're only hurting him in the long run because it's not where your heart's at. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's where materialistic things become the cancer to a relationship. Because here's the thing. You're never, and I think I said it before, you're never going to get 100% of the person you want, but you'll get 80%. Would you rather, like a lot of women, especially in Miami, want a man who can do, not a man who's willing. But the man who's willing is more powerful than a man who can do.
Right.
Because the man who's willing is willing to get out of his comfort zone to get that. The man who can do, you don't know how he achieved it. You don't know if it's genuine. And it's the same thing with a shorty, because the shorty who basically may not be, you know, top notch, but she'll hold you down like steel. She'll make sure that you ate. She'll make sure that she'll give you the validation you seek, versus the woman you want. She's basically there just for attention. You know what I'm saying? We all choose our poison in life. You have to own up to the type of people you choose to be around and who you involve with. There's no one else to blame but yourself. So in her case, just my opinion, all you did was waste not only your time, but his time. Because if this is not somebody who does it for you, go find the person that does.
Right.
But that's the thing. It becomes a lazy game. It's a competition with the world, because you have a lot of shorties, especially with social media. They'll look at, oh, well, this person's on the Bahamas. I deserve that shit. Okay, if you may deserve it, but doesn't mean you're entitled to it. You get what I'm saying? It's like that question where a lot of these red pill guys will be like, rate yourself from 1 through 10. And the girl's always going to say 10. But the truth of the matter is they're asking that question in the wrong manner, because if you love yourself, if you're confident about yourself, of course you're going to give yourself a 10. That's how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
Now, if I rephrase that question and be like, rate yourself from 1 through 10 based on what society calls beautiful, that number is going to change, because you're no longer going based on your perception of yourself. You have to go on the perceptions of others that have nothing to do with you and how they look at you.
Right.
And that number is going to fucking go down, because you can't deny it. There's always going to be, especially at my age, I'm fucking 37. There's going to be someone faster than me. There's going to be someone stronger than me. There's going to be people who could break my record. There's going to be someone who could always do it better than me. But what they can't take away from me is what I have basically earned and pushed my limits to and entitled myself to. The work I put in is what I'm owed. But even then, that gets broken. And I think a lot of times that's a hard reality for a lot of women to accept, because you guys, believe it or not, are a lot more in competition mode than us men. And the reason y'all in competition is because your beauty, you're born with it. We have to build ourselves.
Right.
And we know beauty fades. But what keeps beauty forever lasting is when you're true about it. Because I guarantee you, again, terms to our grandparents. At one point, my grandmother most likely was the most beautiful woman you ever seen. She loses her features, but my grandfather fell in love with her soul. You get what I'm saying? And when you're in that competition mode, you basically dull the soul. The soul is essentially what you become attached to. The soul is what you become in love with, because the flesh is just flesh. You can go under the knife as many times as you want. It ain't going to change who you are on the inside. You'll never be satisfied. You won't. So satisfaction only depends on you, what you feel for yourself, true value. But if you're going to compete against the world, you're already losing, because at least in my opinion, especially for the brothers I know, and I said it to you before I say it to Lewis, we're in a league of our own. When you're in the league of your own, no one can touch you, because you know your value. And if more people knew their value, the dynamic of where we are in today in society would be completely fucking different. That's just me putting it out there.
Okay. I think you're right. You know, honestly, sometimes we forget that even though we might really like or care about this person, you should never want to dumb yourself down, to lower your standards for someone. You know, you deserve to set your standards, love yourself, be confident, and the right one will come your way, you know?
But there's also a saying, don't be a nickel out looking for a dime. That's the hardest pill to swallow in today's society. If you're a nickel, you're not going to get a dime, pound for pound. That's how the game's
I mean, not
always been.
majority of the time, but yeah.
Well,
there are always exceptions. What's that saying? Something about like exception to the rule or something. Have you heard of it?
okay.
Might be crazy. I don't know.
What's more common? Let me ask you this. What's more common? A beautiful girl being with an ugly guy, or a really great looking guy with an ugly girl? What's more common?
I think the first one.
Why?
Because, at least in society, you have your so-called gold diggers, they got, they're with like the ugly guys, or more often than not, it's come to not because they really love them. I think the way that I've seen, at least portrayed in media, women, at least very beautiful women, will be with a ugly guy or an older ugly guy, whatever, etc., for various reasons, but it'll be long term. But a very great looking guy, attractive with an ugly girl, it'll always normally be short term because he's probably maybe just looking for.
It would be
physical...
considered taboo for a very successful, good looking guy to be with a fucking horrendous looking chick, right?
I guess. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why isn't it not the other way around?
Because usually, dude, I don't know. Because usually if a guy's like super attractive, he'll be with,
you can get the cream of the crop.
In his league. He'll probably be someone in his league.
Can't be a nickel looking for a dime.
Or if the guy's super like unattractive, or like, through society, like super unattractive, he'll probably lower his standards to look for something. Do you agree?
Guys naturally, and this is just my opinion, lower their standards when they deal with any woman. They always do, because they got to take the high side, and they know they got to play a certain position of bringing a certain worth to the table to acquire that woman. But just because you could fucking afford a Ferrari doesn't mean you know how to drive it. Doesn't mean you could deal with the maintenance. This is why I love that saying. I used to be told that all the time. Don't be a nickel looking for a dime. Meaning, I'm a person who likes to work out, right? I'm like a person who likes to stay in shape. Okay, for the most part. Do you think I'm going to go for somebody who doesn't fit into that category? Right? But in modern dating, you'll find a lot of women, this is not an attack on women, who go for a guy they don't qualify for. They're the nickel looking for the dime, but they have convinced themselves, because society, especially in their supported group, meaning their women's group, would convince them that they're a dime when they're really a nickel. And that's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to make a joke where I see a bad chick and things like, oh, you go holler. I'm like, nope, my insurance can't afford her. I know my worth. Doesn't mean I can't get a bad chick. But as a grown man, I look for peace. I will go with a 7 before I go with a 10 if the 7 means it's going to bring me peace. That pisses off a lot of women.
I hear what you're saying, but I understand why it pisses them off, because let's say, you
how can you deny this?
Let's say you get into a relationship and you admit that to her, and you're like, well, what is it that you always say about yourself? You're like, I'm
not the cutest nigga, but I put in work.
Okay. That's your perception of yourself.
Yeah.
But then the second that you tell your partner, your woman, that, hey, I'm with you because you're a 7. Like, that's what she's hearing. I completely understand where you're coming from, and I hear you. I'm just letting you know that, like, the way that you're saying it, some women might only hear, damn, I'm a 7. You don't think like I'm like beautiful, this and that. It's just because the way that, I guess media society has kind of warped our vision is like, oh my God, if you're like a 6 or a 7, that's bad, you know, where it's like, we can't possibly fathom the fact that, on a scale of 1 to 10, based on society standards, you're like a 6 or a 7. But I think you're beautiful.
Well, you see right there. But that's the point I'm bringing in, because it's like, you're never going to get the 100%. When I say I'll deal with a 7, then a 10, is because I could deal with that. It's not that I'm settling it. I'm happy with that because some dudes will basically like, well, yeah, you're 7. I'm not saying you tell your girl she's a 7, but the truth is there's certain men, for the most part, not boys, not F boys, not these red pill guys. We're talking about real men. We love entirely different than how women love.
Right. But you can't forget to mention based
Mhm.
on society standards.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, if you leave that
Mhm.
part out, they're gonna
Mhm.
automatically think, damn, you think I'm a 7.
You're right. But at the same time, what's wrong with being a 7? Because listen, money made the man, man made the money, money never made the man, right? It's
Right.
completely backwards now. But what I'm saying is when I go looking at a shorty, I seen some of the most beautiful girls. I dealt with some of the most beautiful ladies. They have been my biggest headache. Number one, the reason why they're my biggest headache because I don't want to deal with that.
Right. I get
You get what I'm saying?
But you know, Jason,
women will, sorry to cut you off, but
Okay.
women don't, most women, I'm not going to say all, most women don't have that completely backwards. They will still engage with a typical fuck boy because he has money when deep down inside they don't want to deal with that. But somewhere down the line, they convince themselves they deal with it because of the things they want versus the things they need. If you get what you need, you will be complete. If you get what you want, you're spoiled.
You know, Jason, not every man thinks like you. You know,
no, I get
the reason
that.
why some women would, you know, be upset at the fact that you called her a 7 is because there are some men who, if they admit that their woman is a 7, in the woman's mind, it's like, okay, it's no secret that men love physical touch. And they goo goo gaga over the most beautiful women. And not all, there are some men who are more loyal than others, and a lot of men who maybe, you know, cheat. They're not so loyal. So it really depends on the couple, on the person. If you have a man that you know has struggled with infidelity and you know, like, you know, cheating or just be a little, you know,
there's a
protagonist
toxic
for some
side
women,
though,
right? And he admits that you're a 7. In that girl's mind, she's probably thinking, wow, like, why the fuck is he with me? Is he probably settling? He's going to see a 10 or a 9 and be like, wow, she's amazing. And if the opportunity presents itself, he will not hesitate to be with her. Those are some situations.
but
and it sucks because some women will, in like, if they've been through that situation through no fault in your own, they'll be triggered and they'll be like, and then they'll probably put that on you. You know, because I know you're a great guy and you would never do that, but because of her past experiences, if she hears her future man say that to her, she's gonna get triggered and be like, what's the truth? What isn't?
Here's where I want to tell you, like I told my ex, right? There are going to be women who are more beautiful than you. There's going to be women who have prettier eyes than you, better hair than you, a better body than you. She didn't know I was going with this, but there's one problem. They're not you. I don't, when you listen, when I say 7, I'm not saying 7. I use that as a comparison because a 7 can beat a 10. You understand what I'm saying? Because based on who they are and how they are. You get what I'm saying? The prettier the girl in today's society, the more wicked she is. Because so many men will fall at her feet versus a woman who's truly genuine. She might be a 7. She honestly loves herself and she respects the nature of the situation. You don't blatantly be like, well, yeah, she's a 10, you're a 7. But the reality is for men, we always know there's going to be a man who's more successful than us. There's going to be a man who could do more than us. But there's also going to be a woman who's prettier than the one you got. But the one problem is they're not that person. When they're your person, when it's real love, none of that matters. It's like you have horse blinders on because the person you're dealing with, if you know that person's for you, you already won the game. That's the game at life. Who the fuck wants to be out here constantly in competition mode? Not me. I guarantee you, not you. And I think people have to understand that shit. Not so much to be content, but be appreciative. Because if you're going to be out here, and this is me talking to the men, if you're going to be out here lusting over all these hot chicks, You'll lose money chasing women, but never lose women chasing money. Be content. Be satisfied. Because what's for you will always be for you. It may not be the prettiest girl. Because guess what? We age. Guess what? Somebody beats our record. But when you know you got somebody for you, the other girl might be beautiful, but your girl blows her out the water because they can never do what your girl does for you. And that's something that you have to genuinely appreciate and love. And if you don't, then you're only playing yourself. And that's something I learned at an early age, because to me, I tell you all the time, I give myself about a 4, a 5 on a good day. I'm not a nickel. I'm a nickel looking for another nickel. I'm not looking for a dime. But sometimes at the same time, what happens is a lot of dudes who make something out of themselves now feel like they qualify for something they couldn't get if they didn't have nothing. Versus me personally, I go after women that I will go out whether I have money or not.
Okay. So
that's just me though.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather be in lust with someone who turns out to be an asshole, slash bitch, what have you? Or would you rather fall in love with someone who might be mediocre in bed?
Okay.
And just for clarification, the first part, the being in lust with like an asshole, like obviously they're good in bed, like phenomenal. So
yeah,
you can answer.
Despite everything I say, I'm gonna have to be real. I'll take the asshole. And the reason is I'm staying true to my love language. I know what I want. You know what I'm saying? But just because what I want doesn't mean it's what I need.
You're such a man.
It's not really. I think that's just a flaw in humans.
I guess.
Because the thing is, yeah, sex is a love language. I could imagine the intimacy part being non-satisfying for you. I can't connect with that person. That means I could love the person, but I probably won't be in love with that person. I'd rather deal with somebody who's a jerk and an asshole because they're giving me my love language. That's the biggest difference. The person who's an asshole, yeah, they're a jerk, whatever, but they can give me the love that I require, the love that I need. The downside is I got to deal with that bullshit. But as a grown man, I know what I'm signing up for.
Let me answer. I choose the second one because there is no better feeling than having sex with someone you're in love with. Like,
we love very differently.
It's different. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it to you, but this is the best way that I can put it. You know, you have sex with someone that you're not in love with. You know, you're attracted to them, you know, you're sexually attracted to them, you have sex, it's great, whatever. But more often than not, sometimes you end up feeling kind of icky. At least, I don't know how guys feel, but at least for some women, you know, there have been some times where it's like, you know, maybe afterwards, you end up feeling like, does he really like me? You know, he probably, like, obviously I know that's his love language. No, wait, let me hear me out.
I have
hear me out. And so in the back of my head, it's just like, this is probably just a casual physical relationship. And you know what? If you verbally communicate that that's what it is, that's perfectly fine. But that doesn't mean that my feelings are still invalid, that I still feel this way, you know, because not a lot of people are capable of holding out a casual relationship. It's just sex, you know, nothing, no strings attached, you know. Just because you verbally agree with it, sometimes afterwards you might feel a little, whatever, a little icky. But when you are in a relationship with someone and you're in love with that person, afterwards, it's like completely different. You feel safe. You feel so satisfied. You feel like amazing. Like, I know it's all these chemicals. You feel like you're on the moon. You're like, wow, I'm on cloud 9. This is the best feeling ever. And then the afterwards, after, you know, the aftercare and all that stuff, you know, you cuddle and then maybe you get something to eat and you feel so secure. You're like, wow, you're not going anywhere. Like, you're my person. Like, it's not just about in the moment, but it's how you feel afterwards. That's why. And besides, just because you're mediocre, you can get better. Practice makes perfect. I know Lewis agreed with me before this. So you're on your own.
I know I'm on my own. Because again, my love language, I'm a person who likes high intensity. Right. If you cannot satisfy my sexual needs, is gonna lead to disappointment, and I'm only lying to myself.
I have a question.
I can't do that. No, I have a question. Since you gave me one on the spot, I'm gonna put you one on the spot.
Okay, wait. But I know you're gonna ask something that's gonna derail this topic. So let me just
All
ask
right.
it real quick for the guys. Okay. I know I mentioned I don't know how the guys feel. It's just more so maybe how some women feel. But when you are, let's say you're doing something casual or it's not 100% exclusive yet,
Mhm.
you're still in the early stages. You have sex with the girl afterwards. Do you ever feel a little icky or a little? Oh, maybe I feel used, or oh, I don't know where this is going, or like Louis saying no.
Hold on.
You
Have
never
I
feel
ever slept with a chick and felt nasty?
no, not nasty. No. When I say icky, I meant like like
This is not my person.
well, yes,
Yeah.
that this isn't my person. I know we just had sex and it was good, but it doesn't feel
It's
like
called post nut syndrome. We can literally sleep with a chick, and then afterwards we realize we don't like you. That is a serious fucking thing. And it sucks. It freaking sucks because I don't want to be, listen, I ain't gonna put my body count out there, but there's times, I slept with a chick that I thought I was feeling, and afterwards I realized I don't like you. That's why I said and made my choice. I'd rather be with somebody who could satisfy my sexual need, because if I lay with somebody who can't give me that, that's that feeling. That's that post nut syndrome where it's like, I realize I'm not into you. I'm not going to lie to myself. I'd rather deal with the asshole because you give me what I need, not what I want, what I need. You get what I'm saying?
right.
So
Okay.
now I get to ask you the question.
Okay.
And ladies watching this show, let us know in the comment section or hit us up on Instagram. Ladies, arrange these in order of importance: dick size, money, looks, loyalty, and personality. Which one comes first?
Did you send it to me on Instagram?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because I immediately forgot.
I want to know what is number one. Why is number one? Why is number two, number three, number four, and number five?
Okay,
explain yourself.
I immediately forgot, so I have to look at it. Okay, so dick size, money, looks, loyalty, and personality.
What's the first one that's more important to you out of the five?
Okay, more important, I would say personality.
Okay.
You got to make me laugh. I don't want no boring ass guy.
I don't want no boring ass sex. Fair enough, right? Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you. I don't want boring sex. She doesn't want a boring guy. You see how that works? Same shit, different toilet. Let's go.
Okay. So personality is the first one.
Aight.
Loyalty. You never fucking cheated on me, bitch.
So we got personality number one for
loyalty.
Nate. Loyalty number two. The left is looks.
I'm gonna say money.
Money comes number three.
And not in the way that you think. Money number three, because I like to think I'm financially responsible, and I want my partner to be the same way. So if we keep our finances in check, we can have fun, go on vacations, and then go out. Like, for me, I see it financially responsible. But my job, obviously.
Yeah.
That's why my answer would be money.
Okay.
Obviously, if he was broke, we would work something out. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Facts.
The
last two is dick size and looks.
I would say looks and then dick size.
What the fuck? Yo, you surprised me with that one.
Because you don't want to know why? Because
please do.
If I'm sexually attracted to you, you're cute, you make me laugh, we have fun on these adventures, and it's I think what's the phrase? It's about something about the motion in the ocean. What's the phrase?
It's not the size of the boat, it's the motion in the ocean.
Right,
Bullshit.
Listen to me. You got hands, you got a mouth, you got all, you got these mental tricks or whatever. But I want to make something very clear with you guys. God. Just because that is the order and that's my answer. And this is what I'm saying doesn't mean that my man has a small dick or whatever.
No one is such. Number one, ain't nobody.
That's gonna pop into some heads. That's always like,
maybe there's not my head. I'm just looking at it as you. What that tells me, you love the person for them. That's what that tells me. You love the person for them. A lot of shorties ain't like that. But we have a male in the room, Louis. So instead of dick size, we're gonna basically, you are ass man or a titties man?
Do I have to choose one?
Yes.
Ass.
You're an ass person. I like ass too. Okay.
Oh, so ass size, money, looks, loyalty,
Yeah.
or personality.
So what's
you want to
more-
look at it?
yeah,
they have a
give him.
reference?
So before we close out, let's get Lewis's feedback, our engineer over here. If you had to choose, what's more important? The shorty's body, meaning her ass, her money, her looks, loyalty, and personality. Which one you putting in order and why? And speak up, fool. Matter of fact, let's switch. We're gonna switch seats. Let's switch. I want you to talk.
Hey, don't fuck up the ones and O's, all right?
No, I want to hear his input. This
gonna-
is gonna be good.
You're gonna accidentally press a button and you're gonna fuck up this.
No, just leave everything the way it is.
Just don't touch it.
Okay,
Just sit there and look pretty.
so list what's more important and why.
All right.
Give me his phone. I want to take a picture.
So instead of size, it's gonna be ass or titties, or ass in this case.
We're gonna say body.
Right, ass. Right. All right. All right.
Damn, dude's not a test.
I'm gonna go personality
All right, why?
because I definitely got to vibe with the person and talk to them. You know, if they don't have a personality, I'm not gonna bother. Loyalty for sure,
All right, why?
because obviously I'm not gonna fucking.
So I'm gonna cheat on you.
Yeah,
What?
I'm being with somebody that's being with me, bro. That's it.
Monogamy.
Third, I'm gonna have to go with looks,
Okay,
ass, and then money. So money last.
we have the same.
So I don't really care if they have money or not. You know, that's something we can work on.
Wait,
but-
so say the order again, real quick.
so personality, loyalty,
Okay.
fuck, what did I say?
You said.
Looks and ass, and then
And
money.
then money.
I agree.
Looks, ass, money.
If I may, right? The reason why I would choose personality, I gotta fuck with you.
Yeah.
If I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. Second is loyalty. Loyalty is something that is important because it lets me know that you're for me, right?
Wait a
Third-
minute. Can we even hear any of this? Because I don't want you to talk just to talk.
Let's-
I'm pretty sure they can, but
We'll switch just to be on the safe side.
Because sometimes when I'm editing these videos, I'm just like, what the hell are they saying? We're not close to the mic.
All right, here we go. Let logic be logic. All right, for me, first one that's gonna be important is personality. I gotta know who you are. I can't fall in love with a stranger. It don't work like that. Loyalty comes number second to me because loyalty shows what your dedication is, right? 3 comes into looks because you can have the body of a goddess and the face from hell. I ain't dealing with that. Okay, your looks, I have to admire you. I have to love what I see. Body, yo, your body changes over time. You can go to the gym, tighten up. You can put fucking weight on by eating some public subs. It fluctuates. But because I'm going based off on your looks and personality and loyalty, that's what makes me committed to you.
Right.
So that's why I have it in that order.
Feel you.
And of course, 4 is going to be the body. Again, like I said, you could move around. And the last is money. And I think for most guys, money is going to be the last thing because if you're traditional like myself, it's not even about being the breadwinner. I want to take care of the person I love.
Right.
So how much you make really doesn't matter to me because
Oh, love that.
I
for
want to
men.
basically be the one to give you the life you deserve and the one to take
love,
care of you.
The women love being taken care of.
So that's my choice. So as we close out, we thank you guys, Make sure if it's your first time, you hit that like and subscribe button. I really like this question, That was really dope. Today's session definitely went in a different direction. I started off tired. You started off tired. Now I'm wired.
Oh my God, can I get
Make
something
sure
to
if it's
eat
your first
after?
time, you hit that like and subscribe button.
I'm
Where
hungry.
can they find you, love?
You can find me on Instagram. It's Natalie 2 I's 2 E's _01.
And it's your gearhead Logic, man. You can find me at Logic142. And again, man, we appreciate you participating. Let us know what your choices are in the comment section. Hit us up on Instagram on how you would put your list and why. And we'll shout you out and let you, we'll talk about it. Other than that, as you already know, this is one thing for show, two
So
things
thanks
for certain.
Happy Valentine's Day, you guys.
Oh, fuck Valentine's Day.
Happy Love Day. Sometimes I forget I have to end the stream.
So-
Bye.